Alrighty, today we're going to be talking about the top 5 most underpowered spells. Spells that need a buff, spells that we never see in multiplayer. Yeah. Well, I guess like the number 5 I've seen maybe once or twice, but almost never. So the first one, number 5, the least bad spell in my opinion, is Arcane Unforging. It is essentially Spirit Leech for double the cost. It increases cooldowns by 30 seconds, and the overcast of it costs 20 instead of 16, and all it does is increase the cooldowns by 15 more seconds, which is pretty meh. Now, if you look over at Spirit Leech is exactly half the cost. It does the same damage per second, but it is not half the seconds. It has 2 more seconds than half, so if you cast 2 Spirit Leeches, you'll have a 26-second duration, meaning 4 more ticks of damage than Arcane Unforging. And also, spamming Spirit Leech gives you more reserves per second, which allows you to cast more Spirit Leeches over the course of the game, right? So that's why Spirit Leech is really good, and Arcane Unforging is underwhelming. That's just straight math one, doesn't really require a demonstration. Number 4 is also just a math thing. It's not really a demonstration, but there's a reason you never see it. Skaven Lore of Stealth is generally underwhelming, generally pretty bad. One of the spells inside of it that you might consider taking is BlackWhirlwind. Don't, it sucks. BlackWhirlwind has 3 damage per second, 100% armor piercing. If you overcast it, it has 4 damage, 100% armor piercing, for 20 winds of magic, and you have the potential of damaging your caster. Or you could take Pit of Shades, which undercasted costs 7 less winds of magic and does 1 more damage per second than the overcasted BlackWhirlwind. BlackWhirlwind technically lasts 4 seconds longer, but that is not at all enough to justify 7 winds of magic less for the Pit of Shades. Or, same exact winds of magic cost for double the damage straight up, and then, yeah, the duration is still 4 seconds lower, but that definitely does not matter at all. So Pit of Shades, even after some nerfs a couple patches ago, still twice as good as BlackWhirlwind, and generally that applies across all the Vortex spells. BlackWhirlwind is just mathematically the worst. It's terrible. Number 3 on this list is a spell you might not even know existed. It is Swiftwing. You can overcast it to increase the effect area, or you can undercast to have a tiny effect area. It is 8 winds of magic, or 11, for 25% speed and 40% charge bonus. That is really not worth your time. Coupling with that, it does have a cool animation for sure, but that makes a charge bonus of 56, which is pretty meh, a speed of 115, which is fine, but it's not that crazy. I don't know. Because like what you also need to consider is the stats are generally worthless. Speed and charge bonus aren't that important to give for a temporary duration. But also you're going to have to use that correctly in the middle of a chaotic battle with like lots of micro going on. You're going to have to somehow get that to work. And I don't see that happening. It's probably why I never see that spell, and it's 8 winds of magic. So you could have like a Spirit Leech or that. Or you could overcast it for 11, but just for some more speed and more charge bonus, it's generally not at all worth it. And it's more taxing on your micro than it deserves to be. Swiftwing's just pretty bad. It's definitely just not worth it. There's other spells, other better ways to use your time in winds of magic. We're getting to number 2 on the most useless. It was actually difficult between this one and the number 1 spot, but it's Windblast. Windblast took a serious fall from grace as far as even campaign power goes. This shit sucks now. In Warhammer 3, it was already not feeling so great, and then it took some nerfs, and it's just feeling really bad. So these are Ungor herds. They have 15 armor. They're as clustered as they're ever going to get around my lord. Oh, wow. Windblast. Insignificant damage even to chaff. Windblast is 8 winds of magic, which is a lot. Like, it's a lot considering how shitty of a spell it is. If it was like 4, maybe that'd be worth spamming over and over again. And the lore passive of Heavens sucks as well. It's a couple of alright debuffs, but it only applies to flying units. So it's meh. So maybe the only reason you can't even spam it because it's 8 winds of magic, which is a pretty good amount if you're trying to spam out a spell. But even if you were just taking it to spam out the passive, it's a shit passive, and it does no damage, even to no armored units, and it's 0% armor piercing, so it won't do anything to armored units either. I don't know. That spell just sucks. That spell just sucks, dude. But it's only number 2, What could be number one? Number one is Tempest. Tempest got smacked over the back of the head with a crowbar coming into Warhammer 3. It sucks. It is the worst spell in the game, I think. Like, all things considered, Tempest fucking blows. All right, so I'm gonna get the Tzeentch guy to group up all of these flying units. Multi-entity, supreme multi-entity, single entity, and I'm overcasting this Tempest right now. It's Tempest upgraded. Yo, Tempest sucks. Tempest sucks and blows. That should be, like, your dream scenario. And it barely got through the Tzeentch unit's shields, and then did, like, a little bit of poke. Poke damage-ish. I got maybe 1k value off that while hitting 1,400, 1,200 more, so 2,600, 3,000... About 4,000 gold value up there. And just barely got through the shields, man. It sucks. Tempest sucks and blows. Because it's expensive. I think that's one of the biggest things about it that gets my goat, is how expensive it is. And because if it did very little damage, but it wasn't that much of a cost, right, it wouldn't be that big of a deal. Where are we, high elves? God damn it. Do I still have you up? High magic? No, it's heavens? No, it should be high. There's Tempest. It's 10, but to overcast it, it's 17. It's 17 Winds of Magic, it does that little bit. It's so bad, man. That is so bad. And obviously it only works versus flying units. It's another problem. So, only good versus flying units. Expensive. You have to overcast it to get the good damage value. Even then, it's pretty meh. I don't know. This spell, in my opinion, is the worst in the game. It sucks. It sucks and blows. Now, there's other things that are, like, you might be like, well, Tempest is better than, you know, one Soul Quench. Yeah, but a Soul Quench is... I don't know. You can cast 2 Soul Quenches and then still have 3 Winds of Magic left over for one overcasted Tempest. Like, even if Soul Quench is a bad ability, which I honestly don't even think it is, but... I don't know. There's, like, Hand of Glory. Yeah, but it's only 4 Winds of Magic. So, the cost is a big factor in that. I don't know. Tempest sucks. There's certainly other spells that need some work, but these, you know, you gotta pick 5s. These are the 5 I had. Let me know in the comments if you think that there's one that's worse. I did try, honorable mention is the Skullstorm. But when I was trying to make a video about it sucking, it was honestly on this list. I tried to make a video of it sucking, but it kept getting really good RNG on where it went. And then it would get tons and tons of damage value, even though it has 0% RPC. I'm like, all right, fine, Skullstorm, you win this round. But honorable mention Skullstorm usually sucks, but not when I'm trying to make a video about it. Okay, goodbye. Roar. Subscribe, yes, yes.